What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. I got my boy MG here. We wanted to talk about the CW shows. Flash ended this week. That's why we waited a week. We don't care about Supergirl, so I'm going to tell you that right now. Spoilers. If you have not already seen the seasons for Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, and Legends of Tomorrow, most of those except Flash is on Netflix, so you can go watch those. Come back to this video, and of course, give your thoughts in the comment section. But we're gonna kind of go down, based on day the shows come on, and what we thought of the season finale and whatnot. Like I said, didn't watch Supergirl, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch every episode of Arrow, but I think I got the gist of, how the whole season went. I watched like the last 5 episodes. I watched early parts of the season, like the last 5 episodes, at the end of the season. But let's see. I guess we can start with Legends, since they ended up putting that on Mondays on the second half of this season. The finale felt rushed. The finale felt rushed, all because the way they were doing this. It was changed. It was exchanging for Supergirl, so it took Supergirl's slot, and then Supergirl comes back, and that's why that season hasn't ended. It was weird how they did that, but the good thing about that, at least they opened up Sundays, so they put Supergirl Sundays, so that way Legends will get its full season, and all the other crap that they were doing won't happen. But like I said, Legends, the season finale felt rushed. I like the season as a whole. You had Constantine in the season. You had the whole demon. You had the whole demon thing. Wally ended up showing at point in the episode, point in the season, and he's become a part of the season. I still don't like Ray. Ray has some moments where it really pissed me off. Same with Nate. I'm not big fans of those two characters. Damien Dark to me was one of the better characters of the season. He of course, he's the big bad villain. He was in the previous season of Legends of Tomorrow. Of course, he was in season 4 of Arrow, and the episode where you first see him come back was Return of the Mac. I think that's what it's called, the name of the episode. And they literally played the song, and he was just killing a room full of dudes. It's probably the best moment in the entire season, and I think he was I think he was the best part of this recent season. Constantine was great. He wasn't around long enough for an episode or two. He's gonna be a big part of the next season. But I felt as though the season was good. It wasn't as good as last season, in my opinion, but it was good. It's just that second half felt rushed, especially that finale. What did you think?
Yeah, it felt super rushed. It wasn't the greatest ending. Like the season as a whole, for the most part, was pretty strong. I'm with you on Ray. Kind of starting to get that way with Nate and Amaya.
At least she won't be around.
Yeah, their whole little love angle. To me, if you ask me honestly, I think Damien Dark carried the season.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He was great. I can't think of a single episode where he didn't, just pop off the screen. From the beginning with Return of the Mac, which was hilarious, to when he came down as Odin. He was killing it this season. I thought Sarah was okay this season. I thought Ava Sharp was okay. Rip Hunter, I'm kind of just through with Rip Hunter. Like, how many times are you going to let this man on your team, and he always deceives you?
The thing about the Ava one, they started, like, near the end, they started focusing on, because that's the clone chick, right?
Yep.
They started focusing on her and Sarah, like, relationship. Man, like, come on, man. They did the typical CW crap. That was kind of annoying. She was pretty good. I thought she was pretty good. It was just that in particular that was annoying.
Oh yeah, So I mean, yeah, overall it was a good season. Yeah, the ending though was kind of like, oh, this is how y'all beat them. Like you
So
kind of expected something a little bit more badass.
yeah, it turned to a stupid fucking. What was the name of the stupid bear thing?
Oh, Evo.
Yeah, that was dumb.
It was funny, but it was like I was kind of looking for something else.
Yeah, and then yeah, they bring Jax back for that. We probably there's a good chance we don't see him next season because clearly they already got people in place with Constantine. Of course, Wally essentially was a replacement. Maya's leaving. You know,
So, who leaving?
Maya's leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, there's a good chance she leaves. I just, like I said, I didn't like the finale. I really didn't. Honestly, there was some parts in that second half that you could tell, even once once we found out about how they were going to handle that with Supergirl, it just, it just felt rushed in my mind, and that season finale really cemented that it was rushed. Hopefully the next season, well, as they're gonna get, hopefully they don't do this in the, for the spring, the second half of the season. Hopefully they don't do nothing like that. I don't see it because they added that Sunday, so that'll help that out a lot. But season should be strong if Constantine's in the majority of it.
Yeah, Constantine. Yeah, hopefully he's there for a while.
Just don't want to give him his own show.
Yeah. I they problem is where would they fit him in terms of the TV schedule?
Get one of them, get rid of that one of those crap shows they always like to try out. Like fucking
Yeah,
that one show, Life Sentence or whatever bullshit. Go ahead, man. Nobody watching that, man. No one's watching that. Oh, that one Dynasty show got renewed. Like, why?
yeah. I wonder what the ratings are too, though.
I think I looked at them. It's pretty.
Not,
It's not really
they're
great.
they're pretty overloaded on comic book stuff right now.
Yeah.
Especially when you include Riverdale in there. They're pretty overloaded on comic
Because
stuff.
I think I remember the top three. The top three were Flash, Black Lightning, and Supernatural. Surprisingly, I think Arrow was below that. Arrow was below Legends, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm assuming Supergirl was fourth.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she's had pretty consistent ratings.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got a lot of comic or just kind of power based stuff on TV right now, especially with like Charm coming back and you got the Vampire Diaries spinoff thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got a lot of that right now. So
Oh,
I'm all for a Constantine show. It's just something got to go.
by the way, people, go go read the synopsis for the Charmed. You're gonna get fucking pissed. Go read the synopsis for this new Charmed, and yeah, just know that it's the new wave feminist bullshit. It's coming on Sunday, so it's like it's their that and Supergirl are gonna come on Sunday, so it's their feminist push woman empowerment day. So watch out for that. I would grade if I graded it, it'd be like a 7.5. I felt as though the second half really kind of struggled. I'll say about 7.5.
For Legends.
Yeah, it really struggled. What would you go with on that?
Ooh.
Because honestly, if they, I think if they would have had like a more badass like way they would have beat the demon, I would have been kind of fine with it. But to turn into that stupid thing, obviously, like yeah, it's a callback to earlier episodes where you do see that fluffy piece of junk, and I guess that was just a joke at that. But it kind of ruined the moment where you could just been like serious and badass.
Yeah, cause I think it's just a certain couple of characters that annoyed me more so than anything.
Ray, man, he has to be number one. That episode.
Ray, Nate, Amaya, Rip Hunter. Those four for me.
Yeah, 'cause I remember Ray had that episode where he literally went back to dark, like to try to help. Uh,
Oh, Nora.
yeah, and he was, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, as smart as you are, you really thought that wasn't gonna, you know, uh, it's just dumb, man.
He fell in love with her, man.
He's a dumb. Wait, would he fall in love with a child?
No, he fell in love with the adult one.
But I'm saying though, but he didn't know her. He didn't know the adult one. He knew the child one. At least before that point. Yeah, come on, man. That's a character they need to get the axe. Z, I mean, she had one episode for her. Yeah, exactly.
I don't like her.
She had one, like, she's essentially in there kind of feeling that Jax was the heart of the team. They don't really have a heart of the team anymore, honestly. Like, a lot of people think it's Ray. Hell no, he's the dumbest smart guy I've ever seen. But Z, they gave her that like Groundhog Day episode where she was stuck in the time. That was like really the only episode they gave her. They
good.
They made her seem more important. Like anybody could have wore that damn totem. Motherfuckers was giving it, passing the totems. Like, oh shit, I can't use it. Let me give it to Wally. Like anyone could have wore that totem. She was useless. She had no purpose being there. It wasn't like she was part of the team before, or she was from, like at least Wally was from Flash, so you understand why he's there. But she had that one episode. She was pretty boring.
Yeah, and you would think Wally with a totem would be just way more powerful.
Yeah, with his abilities and the power of the totem. I mean, they have to do something. At least about 3 of those characters, Z and Maya, and they honestly think they need to get rid of one of them, in my opinion. Because Z has no point of staying around.
She has no purpose.
Did they keep her around as the mechanic? That's it. That's their only purpose.
There's no need to.
Really not.
Because if you have a Wally who can read like super fast and learn everything, and then fix it even faster, there's no need for her.
No.
There's like zero need. And you got Ray as well, so
yeah, like he could figure out how to fix the ship. Like why is she there? She honestly she might not. They might get rid of her, but for right now we know she's gonna be there at some point at the beginning.
She was literally just there because of her totem.
Exactly. We thought that I thought like the totems were connected to the person who put it on. Or at least after a time, it can connect to that person. They're the only ones that can wear it. Hell no, anyone can wear the damn thing. But yeah, like I said, I'm going 7.5. What do you got?
No, I'll go 7.5. I think that's right.
Okay. Moving on to the next show is Black Lightning, and to me, this is the strongest show. It's in its first season, of course, and coming into it, wasn't super hype. Just looking at it, as I remember seeing the first trailer, I was like, I don't really care. But turned out to be really good, and honestly, I would like for them to keep a shorter season, but I know they're not. So I want to see.
Not with those ratings.
Yeah. So I want to see with the 23, because it was only 13 episodes. I want to see how with 23 episodes, how they able to feel that, because a lot of those shows, you look at your Flash, you look at Arrow, you look at Legends, filler episodes. Now those filler episodes can be good, but some, a lot of times they'll lose. People will lose interest if they really care about that. What's going on with that story, and they see back-to-back episodes of them doing something completely unrelated. But the season, I thought the episodes got better as the season went on, and easily out of all these shows had the best finale. Obviously, they didn't kill off their villain, so he's gonna still be around. and clearly he's gonna be more dangerous than he was before because that finale he went on a fucking tear.
Yeah.
He went on a tear, and it was great. And we finally get to see pretty much everyone using their powers. Even the youngest daughter, she ended up using her powers. I don't know why I can't think of her name right now. I'm sorry.
Jennifer.
Yeah, she ended up using her powers to recharge his, and Nissa's been around for a while. I thought everybody was pretty good in the show. I can't really point out someone I really didn't. Even Lala,
He is really good.
he was really good. And when he came back, he was hallucinating. We thought it was some mystical crap. Nope, it was just him hallucinating. But I can't think of any bad performances.
Oh, it was mystical.
It was.
Yeah, because every person he kills, their soul gets tattooed on them.
Wait, the tattoos are real?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep,
Because
so every person he killed, it was part of the reincarnation thing they did with him.
So it was.
And I think that was kind of the purpose of, what was her name, Lady Eve, mentioning the albino,
she was
the
great.
grind up albino bones.
Yeah.
How it's got like magic, it's kind of got like mystical elements to it or whatever.
I thought
And
she
I
was just.
think that was part of what they were doing to bring people back to life.
I thought she was just bullshitting. I thought it was all tech. Like it was tech that brought him back. I didn't know something like mystical.
I don't think so. I think it was some mystical shit.
That's a surprise. That'll be interesting to see more of that. It had a nice cliffhanger. And I like some, unlike some of these other shows where there's always like, there's someone annoying in the show. I didn't find that with this show. And it's still early, so it's still time for me to hate someone. But for the most part, it was no one. I liked everyone's performance. No one got annoying.
Closest I got was Gamby.
Because he was being like all secretive and shit.
It's just come on, Jefferson. Like he would always say that. Come on, Jefferson. Like every single time. But that was the closest I got, though. He wasn't really annoying like that, though.
Come on, man. That's Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation, man. You can't be talking about him like that. Yeah,
That's another thing, man. They had a lot of guest appearances on the show.
Yeah,
or just people you recognize.
Yeah, Lady Eve was
Jill Scott.
Yeah, Jill Scott was great. She was really good.
Yeah, her. Tobias Wells' dad was Kyle from Living Single. T.C. Carson.
Yep, I do remember that in that episode.
You had Lucky Bear was in that episode too, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he played the news reporter or whatever that gave. Who had his dad's.
You talking about the dude that gave the Nissa the files and stuff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ended up getting killed.
And then the daughter she's well known for Disney stuff and Tyler Perry stuff.
Yep. From China and Moss.
Yep, and then who was it? Oh, Anissa. She was in a BT movie. I can't remember what the name of it was. I think it's called like Charter to the Game or something like that.
Yeah, I just, like I said, coming to a show that I honestly just didn't see. I didn't see like it being that big. Let's just say I didn't see it being that big, but it turned out to be pretty good.
Oh, it's the highlight of the CW for this season.
Yeah,
of shows, easily the highlight in my opinion.
Because it was easily keeping up with ratings and Flash. It was playing like right after it.
Yep, and they still did good even that the week's Flash didn't come on, but Black Lightning still came on.
Yeah, that was like because it was like 2 or 3 straight weeks. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the finale it didn't play. The finale it didn't play.
Yeah.
Flash
and then they had Black Lightning was usually the one trending higher on Twitter.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, so normally you used to Flash trending #1 basically every Tuesday, but yeah, it was Black Lightning most of the time.
And it brought in a demographic I think that didn't watch CW shows at all.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
And it wasn't like over superpower like how you got Flash, kind of where everything he does is overly superpowered, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of Black Lightning was really on ground. I mean, really on the ground level type stuff with the gangs and kind of just using connections and stuff like that. Actual research.
Mm-hmm. It was more grounded, It even with the mystical things you were talking about, they really didn't. That was really the only time they ever like even mentioned anything like that. And then the powers they did a lot of real life stuff, like drugs in the community, and one was a teacher, and he was well, he wasn't a teacher, he was the principal, and he was really trying to balance that and being Black Lightning, and of course everything going on in the community, people getting killed, as gangs pretty much taking over the city. It was dealing more like stuff that actually happens, drug dealing and big gangs and stuff.
Shot.
Yeah, because I remember the one lady that got shot. I didn't think she was getting shot. She just he didn't even hesitate.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, but overall, this I would give it like 8.5. I think easily it was the best. It was easily the best show that was on. So
yeah,
I think
I'd probably go with a 9 personally.
I was thinking about that, but no.
But I think
I'm
there's
probably gravitating
not really any flaws with it. It's from the first season. There's really not any flaws.
Yeah. I'll stick with the 8.5. It could change. Like I said, I may go back and watch some episodes since it's on Netflix. But yeah, it was really good. And
in the 13 episodes, I'm with you. I think it helped them out too.
The what?
Because you're talking about the 13 episodes.
Yeah, see, because it's the same thing with like the Marvel Netflix stuff with the 13 episodes. There's no filler. You can focus all on story, and you could really help build your characters. You don't have to build some outside character that we're never going to see again. It's all going to be focused on the story. It's all going to be focused on characters who are important to that story. So
yeah, because you're talking about, most of those CW shows are 22, 23 episodes.
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about 10, 11 episodes that, 9, 10 episodes worth of filler.
Yeah, and I can tell you how many times watching, you'll watch Flash.
Arrow.
Yeah, Arrows. You'll watch an episode of Flash, and it'll have a villain up there, but then you'll never hear about that villain again. Now, we'll get to Flash, but it'll do that. And even let's use another show. Supernatural does that. All those shows that they got up there do that when it has filler. Doesn't really have anything to do with what's actually going on. It just feels like a waste of time, unless the episode could be good, but it still feels like a waste of time when you're invested into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next show would be Arrow, right? No, it's Flash. My bad. I actually did Black Lightning before because whatever. I want to talk about Black Lightning. We're gonna do Flash now. I did it out of order. Who cares? Flash. This season, that season finale. Let me tell you something right now. That shit was garbage. Now, the only good thing about the finale was stuff that didn't even have anything to do with the entire season. If you watch that episode, you'll see Nora, daughter from the future, of course. She ends up helping him at the end, messing up the timeline. That the prospect of that was more interesting than 23 episodes of the Thinker crap. The Thinker has some good episodes. They bring back Ralph. It felt kind of cheap to me. You just leave him dead. Honestly, I wanted to see like, okay, he sees him in there, but he can't escape or whatever.
Yeah, they love the dude who's playing him.
Yeah, because he's
so they wanted to bring
he's
him
actually
back
on some another CWC show or some crap like that. But I thought they would have added something to the episode. Barry goes into his mind and I I guess brings Ralph back out. So, man, it had some strong episodes, but yeah, there were some really. It was mostly garbage to me. Easily the weakest season of Flash. And I honestly got it below Legends in terms of just enjoyment, because that season finale was really bad. It was really bad. Thinker, don't care too much about him as a villain. He had all these superpowers. So what? He's just in. Like I said, he had his good episodes. The episode where he got Ralph and we thought Ralph was pretty much gone. That was probably his. That and the episode before the finale was probably two of his better episodes, with just seeing what he can do, seeing the actor and stuff like that. Those were two of your better episodes. And you kind of see that they started, they started using Cisco more later in the season, but you can tell there were episodes where he just wasn't as important in terms of what was going on in that particular episode. Now, of course, there's the fillers, so that's going to affect it as well, because you did add the fillers, and fillers, some are good, some are really bad, because the one good filler was the Flash Time one. That one was probably the best episode of the season, and it had nothing to do with the overall story.
Yeah, that's probably one of the strongest episodes they've ever made, just in general, out of all 4 seasons.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the filler episodes can be good, but
that and the Danny Trejo episode.
Yeah, that dude's funny, but it doesn't help out the story of the season. So when you think about the season, you don't think about those 2 particular episodes unless mentioned. You think about the overall story, and then you think about it, it's like, man, that shit sucks. The Thinker. I mean, maybe they could have went with someone else, but they used so many of their villains in past seasons and past episodes on these filler episodes, and it kind of hurts. Like, Weather Wizard, Mirror Master, they can't use Grodd like that. He was in Legends, most recent season Legends. Obviously, budget keeps them from constantly using the entire season with him. But a lot of these other villains, most of the speedsters have been done. Savitar, Reverse Flash, Zoom, they've all been done. So I guess they went with one that a lot of people really don't know about unless you read the comics. But just, they use so many of the other villains, which it's going to come to bite them later on, especially as these seasons go on. Oh, you already used that guy. Like, how are you supposed to play Mirror Master or Weather Wizard as this badass when you had 1 or 2 episodes where you easily beat them? How are you supposed to play them up in an entire season as this really important bad guy?
Eventually they're going to have to create their own villain.
Yeah, at this point, they changed so much of the lore, they might as well, right?
Yeah, but I think a big problem is the villain he didn't, like, you mentioned this, DeVoe didn't use his powers much. Like,
yeah, he had used some of them. Like, he used the Kilgore powers. He didn't use the luck powers. What did he need?
He did. He used the luck powers when he broke into Argus.
Oh, okay.
When at the very end, when he looked at the marble and threw it on the floor.
Oh,
and my man slipped on it.
Oh.
Yeah, they threw that in there. I caught that.
See, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't never think about it like that. There's just a lot of abilities he didn't really use.
Yeah, and so I think it's really weird he didn't use Caitlyn's powers, considering he stole her powers with Melting Pot's power. Like, you would think he would still have Killer Frost's powers, but he never used them.
He never did. Nope.
So I think it's just, he was a bad villain. Honestly, I think speedsters just work better. I think a lot of people after season 3 were ready to move away for a speedster, and I didn't want them to, because I just like the dynamic, right? Like, it just works unless you're gonna do Gorilla Grodd, which we, obviously they're not gonna do because of the budget. But speedsters just work better. Like, his history with Reverse Flash is so deep in the comics. Like, that's his villain.
Yeah.
So,
You can't you can't use Weather Wizard. I would have liked for them to use Weather Wizard in the entire season. They did do that little 2-parter where he was about to flood the whole city and Flash goes back in time or whatever. That's it. That was like 2 episodes when they did that. So it was like that was early in the show. Mirror Master.
Yep, Mirror Master. I mean, they haven't used Godspeed, who's a newer speedster.
Hey, but they use him eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, and then you've had, like, we've mentioned it before too, where you've had different incarnations of the Reverse Flash as well. Throughout the comics, they fucked up when they kind of combined Zoom and Zolomon into the same person for the show.
Yeah.
But I think I think they got to go back to, because another thing with Flash is he didn't really use his powers that much this season.
Nope.
Outside of just running.
He did, yeah.
Like,
he didn't use it. When the last time he used when the hell was the last time he used the lightning bolt?
He tried to use it in Flash Time.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And he tried to use it in that episode. He tried to use it in a couple episodes against DeVoe, actually, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But just a lot of he didn't really do much. I mean, he spent all that time in the Speed Force, but he wasn't faster either.
Yeah, they tried to say, they tried to say that, he got faster after he got out of the Speed Force or whatever. But I couldn't tell. It seems like he was
the
doing
only
some
thing
of the
you
same
could
shit.
tell was with Flash Time, because he couldn't do Flash Time before.
And of course, at the beginning of the season, they do give a hint that Witchcall was there. When he was babbling, he said, "Nora, why are you here?" So that's what we was talking about. I go to the assumption that that's what we was talking about.
You said when?
And remember when he was in there babbling, and he said, Nora, why are you here?" Because he was like talking, he was just saying random crap, but that one actually made sense, of course, as we see at the end of the season, because we know she comes back from the future to the past. But that doesn't even have anything to do with what's going on in the story in the season. That, to me, that felt more interesting than.
I think that's another thing where they messed up. We never got the explanation of "we're gonna need more diapers." His house is bitching. The symbols he was writing. We never got the explanation.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have to go fully into it, but you got to give people something. You can't start the season off, the first half of the season with that type of stuff and then never explain it.
They didn't. They didn't. It.
And the funny thing is, if you notice, Wells was writing those symbols on the board.
Yep.
Before they breached out of Star Labs to go to the old layer for Thinker, but they never explained any of the symbols.
Like I say, expect people to automatically watch the next season so they can explain it, but they don't even obviously it looks like an Easter egg or whatever, but you gotta they could at least be like, okay, what Wells, what are you writing, so the people watching can pay attention to it. But they didn't even do that, so they're hoping that the people watch gonna continue to tune in for the next season so they can be explained, because it more than likely will be. But I felt as though Harry was strong in the season.
Yeah.
Even when he, you saw the other Wells, the actor is the best actor in this show, without question. With all the different characters he was doing, and you already saw that, the previous season he was a different, that same actor. He was, of course, a different Harry who acted differently. You saw as he lost his mind, he was able to change up his acting style. Easily the best actor. Weakness for this show, outside the story, the Thinker, that Iris, she was up and down. She's not Felicity bad. But she was up and down in the season. She's not as annoying as Felicity, but she had her moments where she was. And they even gave her an episode where she got Flash's powers for a little while.
My thing is this: Iris don't bring nothing to the table.
It's just a love interest. That's it.
Yeah, at least with Felicity, as annoying as she is, at least she's a computer geek, right?
Mm-hmm.
and a tech geek who can create stuff and locate things. Like, at least she's smart in that sense. She can hack into stuff. Like, what does Felicity do? I mean, what does Iris do? Like,
she's
got stabbed in the chest.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the leader. Who promoted you as leader? I've had a problem with that the entire season. How does she become leader when you got Barry there, you got Cisco there, Caitlyn? I would have respected Caitlyn way more as the leader because she was there day fucking one, helping him out.
Mm-hmm.
Cisco, Harry, like, how does she get picked as the leader? Even freaking Joe.
Joe's my guy.
Joe, man, hey, listen here, man. Hey, Joe, I ain't got no power. So he gonna go out there. He got your back. He got your back. What is she doing? What is she doing? Barking out orders and stuff. Come on, man. Like I said, to me, she's not as annoying as Felicity. Felicity's more useful in terms of her skills.
Yeah.
But Felicity's just more annoying overall, just because of stuff they've done in the past with Arrow and the relationship crab back and forth. That stuff is garbage. That's why people almost stopped watching it. That's why the ratings have dropped for it. But for the most part, I felt as though everyone else was pretty good. Iris was a low point to me. Thinker was a low point, of course. His wife, well, because she was tied to him, that was a weak point too. If I'm grading this season, I'm gonna go about a 6. To be honest with you, I give it above average.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be lower if it wasn't for the Dan Trejo episode and Flash Time. Because even the crossover, and that goes for all these shows that had the crossover, but the crossover was more important for Flash because it was Barry and Iris' wedding crossover. We did the video on that. I hate that crossover.
Yeah, I'm going with the 5.
Going to 5.
You just reminded me of the crossover.
Yeah, because you got to remember they were the two most important in that crossover. So
yeah, and Flash was barely used.
And then they found a way to focus on Felicity and Oliver in that last episode. How? Like, come on, bro.
Oh, he's always going to be the focal point. He's the Arrowverse.
And he's probably the least watched show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be above. It might be above Legends. I have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure Legends was above it. I know Supergirl and other ones that were above it. And hopefully, just to go back on Black Lightning, hopefully I don't want to see a crossover with them. Black Lightning, I like the world it's in and the tone it had with this world. I like that. Don't put the other characters in there. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on what characters too.
As long as it ain't Felicity or Iris, but then they're gonna include those because they just like to include those two in everything. If it was like Barry,
definitely not Supergirl. I want no interaction with Supergirl in that.
Get her emotional. Her and her stepsister's emotional ass up out of here. And there's a big reason why I don't watch that show. So, quick review on Supergirl. Trash. Moving on. Arrow. Like I said earlier in the video, I watched the last 5 episodes and some episodes early on, some episodes in the middle, but I think I got the gist of it. Diaz, I remember the actor that played him from Fringe. He was great in that. Yes, he was great in this season, and to me, one of the stronger points of the season, because the other thing you had going on was Team Oliver was breaking up. They split up. Of course, they had a falling out. They fought and everything. That was okay, I guess. There's some characters in there I don't like Dinah. I don't like her.
Yeah, she's annoying.
She's annoying. Of course, Felicity on the other side, I really don't like her.
The dude who played Wild Dog I fucks with him though.
Oh yeah, I like him.
He got super kicked in the chest.
Put him out for like a few episodes.
Oliver super kicked the dog shit out that baby.
The dude that plays Mr. Terrific, I never liked them making that portrayal of Mr. Terrific because of the backstory. I can never get behind that. I know a lot of people don't know who Mr. Terrific is. But I know his backstory, and if you look at his backstory, why he became Mr. Terrific in the comics, I just don't like that character. This is a different interpretation, but
I didn't mind him this season.
Yeah, he's not as bad as when we first saw him.
Last season? Ugh.
Yeah, and the season when we first saw him before he became a part of the team, he was really annoying. He wasn't that bad in this season. But didn't really focus on him that much. It was mostly the team breaking up, and of course, Dinah and Mad Dog with him. It was really focused on him, not really him, and by himself in particular. They did have some parts in there, but the strength of this season was the villain. The villain was the strength of this season. Yeah, he pretty much took over the whole city. You had the cops. He pretty much all the gangs. He pretty much owned all of them, and I thought that was definitely the reason to keep watching. And apparently he's not dead, so hopefully he comes back at some point in the next season or in the future or whatever. But he's definitely it's good they didn't kill him off, so they can't use him later in some capacity. Finale up to the point where that was probably one of the few good things about the finale. Kind of just thinking about it, just felt jumbled to me.
They tried to fit a lot in terms of.
It's hard to remember a
should have
particular
been stretched
part
out over 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's difficult to point out a particular thing outside of just him not dying. It was, you had that stuff with the FBI, team still kind of learning to work together again for the greater good. So you had dialogue with that. Then, of course, stopping him. Anatoly what was his allegiance and all that. It was a lot going on, and another one that felt rushed. Felt really rushed.
Yeah, they took a lot of time off this year in between episodes. Normally you get the winter break, right? Like usually that January period, but they took another break in March, which was really odd. Usually it's a couple of weeks or maybe 1 week here and there, but they took 2 or 3 weeks off in March. Was it February, March?
Yeah.
And it was okay, sure. But yeah, it just felt jumbled. The first half of the season was horrible. This was literally almost a carbon copy of last season, where the first half was horrible, and then when you find out who the real villain for the season is, last year, it was, the first half you kind of had, Prometheus and Vigilante or whatever, but then you found out everybody kind of had it mixed up. Everybody thought Chase was going to be Vigilante, and he turned out to be Prometheus, and he was amazing. Even in the one episode he came back where he was kind of Oliver's consciousness on this season was really good. But once he took over as the villain and everybody knew it was him, it got great. And then this year, same thing. Caden James was a horrible villain. Horrible villain. He didn't get his hands dirty. There should never be a villain on Arrow that doesn't fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It just, even though Diaz doesn't have necessarily superb training or
that motherfucker gritty,
superpowers,
boy.
He fights, and I think that works.
That motherfucker gritty, when he was fighting, I keep forgetting homeboy's name, played Mr. Terrific.
Curtis. What's his name in real life? I can't remember what his real name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking what his name was. But yeah, Curtis when Curtis ran after him, man, Diaz beat the brakes off Curtis. Or that one guy when they was in the police station and the dude was he was pretty much trying to take over take something from that dude's gang or whatever. He's like, oh, okay, you don't You don't want to barter then. And they just like slit his throat. Like, so now do you want to do it? Did the guy beside him, why he got a bloody knife in his hand? It's like, yo, come on, bro. That dude gritty. He gritty. So
or even his solo episode where he worked his way into the quad.
Yep. So,
that was one of the best episodes of the season. But he was literally a man on a mission. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He was gonna get what he wanted.
Yeah, and that's saying something when your villains definitely had your better episodes in your season. So definitely the strongest point of the season. And that was because I know you just brought up like that beginning of the season. That was at the end of last season. How good that was. Everything dealing with the islands. That was great. That's what got me to watch the early parts of the next season. I went like 4 or 5 episodes in, and then I had a season 4 moment where I was like, yeah, don't think. And that's why there's like a gap of episodes where I didn't watch. So I guess some of the story is missing, but I don't think I missed much. Sure.
No, I mean, obviously Diaz was the one who killed Kate and James. He was kind of pulling the strings behind everybody's backs, and nobody knew it. Vigilante was really somewhat of a double agent, where he was trying to stop Kate and James behind everybody's backs, and he ended up getting killed at the end of the day. So, that was really where the Team Arrow breakup really, really started with, was the whole Vigilante storyline with Dinah and them being able to trust each other, and then Mad Dog, basically about to cop a plea and snitch on Oliver so he can, keep his daughter, which I think his character was super duper strong this year.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, imagine being in that position where they try to take your daughter away from you and you got to snitch on your homie.
Yep.
Right? Like, and it was kind of stupid for Oliver to get mad about it.
Because he would have did the same for his son.
He would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but then them putting everybody under surveillance was kind of, them being mad about that was kind of stupid. Like, and I thought Diggle had a strong season, though.
Yeah. Do you think they messed up with the Laurel thing when they chose to kill her off a couple seasons back?
Oh yeah, I said it right after it happened, because at first I was at that point with Laurel where I was like, oh, she got to go, because her character had became like super duper whiny, right? And
she should have just been one of those characters that should have just stayed around because she's too important. But they killed her off.
Yeah, and then when they killed her, I was like, okay, she's gone. Wrong person.
Yeah, it should have been Felicity. Because Laurel died, but Felicity's still around. Now Laurel's back, the Earth 2 Laurel, so that's who she's apparently a good guy, hero now, I guess, somewhat. That's their attempts. Like, oh, we fucked up in the last couple seasons ago by killing her. So here you go, we brought her back somewhat.
Yeah, and then I think with some of the cast rotating, they haven't found good replacements in terms of fit, right? Example would be, Willa Holland, right?
Yeah.
Her role in the earlier seasons was very important and great, and she brought an emotion to the show that they haven't been able to find again.
Nope. Ever since she's pretty much moved on.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Merlin.
Yeah.
They have yet to replace him, and he's that kind of anti-hero. And I think, they had a guy in a Vigilante, I guess, who was kind of, I guess they were trying to fill that role with, but it just didn't work out.
Nope.
They dialed back on Lance, which for this season, I'm kind of...
Oh, man, was it last? It was one of these seasons where he was so whiny.
This season?
Okay, it was this season.
I saw her eyes. I see my baby girl.
Oh, my gosh. I did see that episode. I was like, I almost cut it off because he got that whiny. I usually can tolerate it to a certain point, but he just got that whiny. And it's been that.
And they haven't. They've yet to find another, like, a really great sidekick to replace Roy either. Like,
well, he's hopefully coming back.
Well, he is coming back. He signed on, and it's going to be the Earth 1 Roy. It's not going to be like an Earth 2 or 3 version. It's going to be the actual Roy from,
so
the original Roy.
That'll help out because, he was a very early on, especially to me still the best season. Season 2, he was an important part of that season. So
Yeah.
good that he's coming back. What would you rate it? Because I don't think I can give a rating because I don't think I watched enough episodes. Like I said, I watched about 12, 13 episodes. Somewhere around there. I watched about 12, 13. But I don't want to give a score because I don't think I can really give one. What do you got?
Honestly, season as a whole, this is definitely one of their worst seasons.
Worse than season 3 and 4? Three was the Ra's al Ghul one, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Up to that point with the Ra's al Ghul stuff, it was good. But
and what was 4?
I don't remember. It must have been really bad. I don't.
It wasn't Damien Dark, was it?
It was, but it was handled so bad. Yeah, you're right. It was season 4 was Damien Dark, but it was handled so poorly with a great character like that.
McDonough, man.
And he wasn't as good in that. It wasn't his fault. It was obviously
No, it wasn't his fault. His character was meant to be serious, and I think Damien Dark with a comedic side is the perfect combination.
Yeah, and that's what they did in Legends, and it worked out.
Yeah, because that dude is hilarious.
And that was also the season. Season 4 is when Laurel got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't help either. And then
yeah.
that was the whole Olicity thing at fucking Max. That's when it was shoved down your throat. At least at the end of season 3 and of course 4, it was shoved down your throat.
Yeah, so I'd probably put this season right ahead of season 4. 3 is obviously what's worse between 3 and 4? I almost want to say 3 is worse.
Yeah.
But so I'd put this season right ahead of those two.
Because 3 came off this very strong season 2.
Yeah, like if you would have told me like you could have had a season where where Prometheus, where like Diaz was the villain through the first half of the season, and then Prometheus was the villain through the second half of the season, it would have been the best season they ever had.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah,
it would have been the best season they ever had. Now we did at least get Deathstroke back here in this season in that first half.
Yeah.
Which was cool, but he's gone now.
Yeah, they can't
just because of the movies.
Yeah, they can't use him anymore.
Which is absolutely tragic. Because he's really good on the show. He kind of filled in that Malcolm Merlin role this year.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
It wasn't better than Flash. I gave Flash a solid 5.
You got lower than 5?
It's probably like a 4.5.
Damn. Okay.
Like
that whole 4.5 goes to Diaz.
Like even Oliver at certain points was really annoying. Like in the finale, like he asked for immunity for everybody except himself.
Idiot.
What?
Idiot.
It makes zero sense.
And it's to force a story. I can understand to like betray him. It's like, oh, you going to jail now? Okay, I don't care what you do. But it's just like to force him going to prison. Like you could easily be like, okay, can I get immunity too?
Like, it's just really stupid.
Yeah.
So, I think the characters during this season were really bad. How they were written. Even one of their better episodes, when he got put on trial.
Yep.
The ending to it was stupid. The ending was completely stupid.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, it was freaking stupid. It's some weird writing. I don't know what's going on with the writers, especially with this season. It's like
honestly,
it's honestly.
I think their gas tank is running low right now on ideas.
It honestly looked like there was at one point it was they got some guys from off the street. They got your regular Arrow writers on some episodes, and they got some guys off the street on other ones. Just I can't have you ever fucking wrote they asked me, have you ever wrote an essay? Cool, you can write for our show.
Yeah, and honestly, it probably was next to Supergirl, which is complete garbage.
Garbage.
It's probably the worst of any of the DC shows.
The ratings show it.
Because honestly, Black Lightning was absolutely great. Krypton, which I think I gotta finish the last 2 episodes of the season. Really fucking good. And then Gotham, I gotta finish like the last 2 episodes of Gotham from this season. But those 2 shows also have been just ridiculously well. Krypton, this is his first season, great season. They got renewed for season 2.
Good.
And then Gotham, really, really good season. This is one of Gotham's best seasons overall. And then next year, word is they're doing 0 year.
Yep, and that's pretty much what next year is supposed to be this last season.
Yeah, and then for Krypton, you had a lot of stuff. The Zods, obviously General Zod and Adam Strange. You got the first look of Doomsday before he got released. Phantom Zone and just a bunch of stuff. So, and the backstory too. And you would have thought it would have been difficult to do a show like that without Superman being in the show, but the characters on that show have been written really good.
That's when I first saw. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I had zero interest in it at first, and then I seen kind of everybody talking about the first episode, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. It's kind of like Krypton Game of Thrones. So
high praise.
Yeah, it's similar. You know how you got all the different houses and whatnot, like House Zod, House L, House Vex.
Everybody's
very
motherfucking slimy as hell.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of got their role. Like House L is the technology, part of Krypton, of Kandor City, and the Zods are the military, and then the Vexes are the the law part of it. So it's really good.
Yeah, I definitely need to catch up. I gotta catch up. I started. I just gotta finish it. I just gotta finish. I did start it though. Same with Gotham. That's on Netflix, but it's a few seasons to go through.
Yeah, it is. It's worth it though.
Yeah, I'll definitely catch up.
Really worth it.
But for these CW shows, just looking into next season, Flash, what are they gonna do? Obviously, they're gonna do the Nora thing, but what else? What's the villain? So question marks with that. How are they gonna handle that? Legends, Constantine, Wally's gonna be there. What are they gonna do about Z? Who's gonna be the villain? I think it's gonna be good. You got Constantine there, but the question is who's gonna be the villain. It's probably gonna be something that's supernatural or whatever. Supergirl, who gives a fuck? Arrow, hopefully Diaz is still an important part because he was the strongest part of this recent season of Arrow. Hopefully he's still there and is important and not just like killed off earlier or just not used. Black Lightning, how is the show gonna be now that it's gonna get a full season? Are the fillers gonna suck? Is it gonna mess with the actual story that's being told? And because it, like I said, it ended off great heading into a season 2. So how are they gonna handle a full season? But I think we're done with this video. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. We talked for about an hour. Of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Go follow MG Virtuoso Sports. We talk about the NBA. The finals are going on. We talk about comics, video games, movies, whatnot. Go follow him on Twitter. Peace. We're out.